Welcome back, everyone. Hopefully you've joined us for our Trijicon live stream. We talked about the Ascent line, the Credo line, and now we're going to talk about something that's suitable for long range. This is the new 10-mile line from Trijicon. Check out this video. This is the optic line that will help you push your limits in long range. Welcome back, gentlemen. We have Ryan Wood from Trijicon, Tom Beckstrand from Guns & Ammo Magazine. Welcome back.
It's great to be back.
Talking about new optics.
Yeah, it felt like we were just here. So, this is another big expansion of the precision rifle optics that Trijicon has to offer. Right, so we've gone from a couple of models to now. How many models are we up? How many models do we have?
So we had a toll hold a little over a year ago with the 4.5 to 30 by 56 and the 5 to 50 by 56. Awesome feedback on those models, but we realized that there was some more opportunity to grow this family for the long-range shooter, and so we now have 6 different models.
Okay, and then once again with reticles now, especially when we start talking long-range shooting, people get super picky about their reticles, right?
Well, it's all about what you see, right?
Right, and everybody wants something a little bit different, and you're never going to get a consensus. And so, you know, there's a number of options. We got 7 options for reticles.
Yep.
We got mill-based, we got MOA-based, so all the bases are covered there. And there's a lot of center dots, which me personally, you know, like I said, everybody's got an opinion when it comes to a reticle. I like that center dot.
The floating center dot's really nice. You still have that precision. You're not covering up the target or obscuring it.
Right. So, fully featured optics. What are some of the key features of that distinguish this line?
Yeah. So, just like every other model, it goes through that science of brilliant methodology and design philosophy, rugged, durable. It's, you know, exceptional glass, true color, target definition. We've got the 30 and 34 millimeter tubes, very durable. Everything's illuminated. The 3 to 18 by 44, which I'm holding here, has both red and green illumination. Holding this option has the exposed elevation adjuster with zero stop. And of course the repositionable magnification lever. And then the purpose-designed, purpose-built reticles that we talked about, designed for long-range shooting.
And one of the things, you know, a nice feature that I see that you've incorporated on almost all of your reticles is if you look at them, you'll see that you've got that center crosshair, but once you get above it, it only goes up a little bit and then the crosshair stops. And sometimes folks are like, you know, why would you end the reticle there? Well, sometimes you got to hold under, but it's usually not that much, and it's nice to have an uncluttered field of view. If you use a scope for observation, which there are people that do that, especially professional users, it's nice to be able to look in the top half of your optic and have that uncluttered field of view, so that your eye's not trying to see the reticle and see whatever it is you're observing at the same time.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Just a nice touch. Now, you know, price-wise, there's some variation on these.
Everywhere, we range the price from $13.99 up to $2,700. And with $13.99, that's the 6 to 24 by 50. We're really excited about that. It still has the captive adjuster is a little bit lower profile, and it uses a, first time we've done this, we have a wire reticle with LED illumination. So you have truly a daylight bright reticle. Simple, it's like an acupoint reticle, but with LED power. So it's a simple, uncluttered reticle. We think it'll be a great choice.
And one of those things that I love about the LED illumination is, you know, it takes all of, and normally when you got an etched reticle and you bathe it with light, you're getting, you know, a 15 to 25% efficiency. That's all the light that's coming back to your eye. But as soon as you take a fiber optic cable and pipe it and point it back at the shooter's eye, now you're getting close to 100% efficiency. So it doesn't take much battery power,
Right.
it lasts forever, and there is absolutely zero lighting condition where you can't see that form of illumination. Now, you can only use it in second focal plane.
That's true.
Reticles,
Yep.
Because, you know, if you put it in first focal, by the time you dial
crank up, it's
you'd
gonna-
have your fiber optic would be like this big in the
That's
scope.
true. Yep.
And then it would be like, oh my goodness, it'd be like looking at the sun, I would think. But that's one of the, you know, we talked about it a little bit before, you know, everybody's like, I want a first focal plane, all the things. You know,
And we have that.
there are
Yeah.
first focal plane scopes, and that 4.5 to 30 I've been using for a while now, and that thing is awesome, excellent image quality. But there's room in the world for second focal plane
Yeah.
scopes, and one of the things, you know, people are like, well, you know, it only sub-10s accurately at the highest magnification. If you cut the mag in half, you cut the hold in half. And it
Well, it's
works
funny you
out the
mention
same.
that because for several of these reticles, we've actually done the math for you
Right.
at the 6 o'clock position in the reticle. And so now you can keep your eyes on target and know what the value of that MOA or milliradian is at any magnification other than the max power.
This is a great time to jump in and
Yes.
say that if you have any specific questions for Ryan or Tom here about the new 10-mile line, go ahead and add those in the comment section below, as well as commenting at least for your chance to win a new 10-mile.
Who doesn't want to win?
No, who doesn't want to win? Now, you've specifically shot the 10-mile.
Right.
Which model did you use? And
I think I was using a 3 to 18.
okay.
Yep.
And we were out at FTW Ranch in Texas, and they had a mover set up. I think it was about 300 yards, and they just would vary the speeds, you know, like walking, jogging, and then a full-out sprint. And one of the things that, you know, there's a gang of us there. I was trying to help folks out. I realized, like, you know, if you leave it at max magnification, when that target runs at a full sprint, you get a flash and it's gone.
Okay.
And so, for the folks at home, if you have a second focal plane, this will work in any second focal plane reticle. If you know your hold, say you got a guy that's not a guy. That's the military.
Anyone.
That's the military sniper. That's the military sniper. Me
No
coming
offense
out.
taken.
Yeah. Don't anybody do this. But say you've got a plate moving at 500 yards, it's moving quickly. At max mag, you're not going to see it. Cut your magnification in half. And if your calculator says you got to have a 2 mil hold, cut your mag in half, cut your hold in half, hold 1 mil, and you'll be
Hitting it
dead
all day
on.
long like
Yeah.
you did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
Yeah,
I was getting good hits.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was more than good, but it was awesome to see, and it was cool to see, you know, the scopes and you know what you can do with them.
Yes, yeah. And that's all just having the right features, you know, and these, if you look at them, you've got your choice between 30 millimeter tubes, 34 millimeter tubes, depending on what mounts you got, and
Yeah.
how much money you got to spend. A lot of times when you go to the bigger main tubes, you're picking up additional elevation travel. You'll hear arguments all the time
Yeah.
about, well, you get better image quality,
It's really about adjusted travel. So-
it's all about, you just give the internals of the scope more breathing room, so if you got to dial a lot, you know, go for the bigger main tube. And then
Yeah.
you were telling me earlier that you had a guy shooting one of these King of the
Yeah,
2 Mile kind of
yeah.
lost his mind a little bit.
World-class shooter borrowed one of our scopes and competed in the King of the 2 Mile, which just like it sounds, and
Miles.
placed very
Target
well.
distance is 2 miles.
And you know, it performed so well. He actually afterwards he tore the scope apart and wanted to understand what made it so precise, repeatable, why the dialing did exactly what it did.
Right, and that's one of the things, you know, when it comes, my experience with Trijicon's optics is they track very well. And if you ever want to check your scopes at home, once again, this works for any scope, you want to dial, you know, if you just dial 5 mils, you're really not moving anything that much. So just about every scope will track at 5. If you want to know if it'll really track, dial 15. And so the guy shooting 2 miles, I guarantee was using every bit of elevation travel he had in that thing. And, you know, like you
Yeah.
said, he was so happy with its consistency and its performance that he took it apart before he sent it back to you, which was thoughtful.
We love that kind of feedback.
Yeah, I love taking apart other people's things.
So for those who are just joining us, why don't you give us just a quick breakdown of the main features that we have here?
Yeah, that's a great question, Julie. So we've got the 10-mile family designed for the long-range shooter. Everything is either a 30 or 34 millimeter tube, and there's still a lot of variety here. There are 6 different models, 12 different SKUs, 6 or so different reticle options, and both choices of both first and second focal plane reticles. Everything's illuminated. This particular model, the 3 to 18 by 44, has both red and green illumination, as does the 4.5 to 30 and 5 to 50. The others are a choice of red or green. And then we have different reticle styles, both in terms of design, but also glass versus the wire reticle with the LED illumination that you were talking about.
And then you've got traditional crosshair reticles that subtend in minutes and mils, and then you've got the Christmas tree reticles. Most of them feature that floating dot in the center because that's most customers nowadays seem to be asking for that.
But designed around premium glass, exceptional target definition, true color. We've got the illumination, which is great against dark and different contrasts or against different backgrounds, parallax, so tons of travel, between 60 and up to 100 MOA of travel.
So in other words, all of our long-range shooters are going to be really, really happy.
Yes, you just got a truckload more options with a 10-mile line.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. We do have some questions here. David asked, what does 10 mile mean?
Yeah, so
Can I shoot at 10 miles?
it's not a brand promise. It is we thought it was a fitting name for the long-range crowd, but it's actually a mountain range in Colorado, and there's actually a 10-mile mountain in northern Montana. So we thought it was just a cool name and resonates well with this family and who it's designed for.
That's great. Don't forget to get your questions in and make sure you comment and enter to win a new 10-mile scope. Chad asks, regarding 10-mile, what benefits do I get in a 34 millimeter tube versus a 30 millimeter tube?
Yeah, so with a 34 millimeter tube, you get more travel. So with the 4.5 to 30 and the 5 to 50, you have 100 MOA of travel on the elevation adjusters and windage. With the 30 millimeter tube, you're saving some weight, but you have a little bit less travel.
Great. Glenn asks when they're going to be available.
So just like all of the families that we're launching, if you're in Dallas, come by the booth. We're going to point you in the right direction because they're on sale here in Dallas at the show, Dallas Safari Club, but also they're hitting dealers, retailer shelves as we speak. They are available. So
They don't have to buy today or this
we
weekend.
encourage you to do that.
But if you want
really
to.
want
Optional, yeah. It's a good reason to come to Dallas.
Alex asked, any dual illumination options in the works? Also, what is the battery life?
Yeah, so I think by dual illumination, he's probably referring to tritium and fiber, and that we don't have, that's not been designed yet. It's a great point of feedback. We love the AccuPoint. We're continuing to invest in the AccuPoint. We're talking about that next. However, all of these are the LED illumination.
Great.
And the battery life, that'll all be on the website, but around 6 to 8 hours, depending on the illumination setting and whether it's red or green.
Great, and I understand Gordon is celebrating a birthday today, so happy birthday, Gordon. Thanks for watching.
Technically not a question, but...
But it works, and he's entered to win.
Happy birthday, Gordon.
Howell asked, is the turret adjustments in mil or MOA?
Yeah. So we matched the turrets to the reticles. So if it's an MOA reticle, it's an MOA turret. If it's a milliradian reticle, milliradian turret. In the
most
past,
adjustments is it like how much of a minute per click?
Great question. So they're either 1/4 MOA or 0.1 milliradian. The exception to that is the 5 to 50, which is half. So 1/8 MOA or 0.05 milliradian.
Any final thoughts on 10 mile?
Precision rifle shooters got a lot more options from Trijicon, and with those options comes Trijicon's durability, everything, all the tribal knowledge that they've accrued over the last, 30 years of building optics for the military. So big win for everybody.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. We have another video coming up here at the top of the half hour, and it's going to be more on the AccuPoint. You'll definitely want to check it out. We have more videos coming through all day long, and we're also going to be premiering some brand new breakthrough technology. You won't want to miss it. We'll see you in the next one.